With Valentine's Day coming up very soon, I thought it would be appropriate for us to celebrate the most awkward romance scenes in video games. Let's get into it. Up first is Heavy Rain, and this is of course Ethan and Madison. Honestly, where to begin with this scene? I've talked a little bit about the relationship between these two in a previous video, primarily the fact that they are both incredibly traumatized and their relationship is very hard to understand. I cannot imagine that getting together physically would be anywhere prominent in their minds. Before the love scene between Madison and Ethan takes place, Madison has just been at a really grimy club where she had a very not consensual encounter with a really creepy guy. And as far as things go for Ethan, depending on how you play things out with him, he may have just killed someone. And Madison and Ethan begin their encounter by her finding him in his motel room crying on the floor. What a very romantic way for things to start out for this couple. This, fortunately or unfortunately, brings us to the actual encounter. They're passionately kissing. Ethan puts his hands on her head, except it actually looks like there are just these two massive flesh-colored mitts that are holding her head. Ethan is covered in bandages, and I just can't help but yell, why are they doing this? Honestly. Then of course I have to ask myself the better question, why am I doing this? Because the most painful thing about this scene, if it wasn't uncomfortable enough already, is that it is loaded with QTEs. I am not joking. Push a certain button to kiss Madison. Push a combination of buttons to remove your sweater, etc, etc, etc. Why did they need to include the player in this already very uncomfortable scene? I don't want to be a part of this. I don't even like the idea of this happening. There is an option to not engage with this, and I would highly recommend it. This scene feels forced, unnecessary, awkward, and so invasive. Moving on to the next one, let's talk about Dragon Age Origins. With Dragon Age Origins, I will acknowledge this was one of BioWare's earlier games, when they were still likely working out the kinks of their romance systems and romance scenes in general. They have definitely improved since Dragon Age Origins. The romance scenes are notorious for being very copy-pasted, meaning no matter who you choose to romance, it's going to play out just about the same every single time when you get physical with that romance option. Now this game is older, so I don't want to be too harsh about the visuals, but the underwear of the characters is very bizarre to me, and their attempts to kiss or physically interact with each other is like you'd expect from early games. There's lots of not very natural looking interactions, and what you'll find afterwards is that most likely everyone in your camp heard every second of your encounter, which is a whole other level of discomfort and awkwardness that I'm not even really gonna touch. Next we have The Witcher 3. Now this scene is so awkward, I made an entire video about how much this scene nearly put me off from playing the whole game. I'll reiterate a bit of what I said in that video. This romance scene comes out of nowhere. Before this scene starts, we're being shown a very violent battle scene, and then we're shown Geralt sleeping, which is like, okay, fine, cool. Character introduction, getting to know the story. This all makes sense. I am following. And then, bam, Geralt is in a bathtub wearing no clothing. But that's not all, because Yennefer is with him and she's using magic to mess with him by having a crab-like creature crawl into his bathtub, and you get it. They're both not wearing anything, they're making eyes at each other, giving each other these very passionate kisses. 50 seconds ago, we watched a raven fly through someone's head. Talk about content and emotional whiplash. Where did this come from? Why are you putting me through this? And what a strange way to introduce this couple to us. I get the impression that this is meant to be like, check out Geralt, he's this rough and tough guy who definitely gets the chicks. And it just feels very forced and awkward to me. I haven't said this yet, I'm sure you've played the game so you already know, but this is literally the beginning of the game. Why in the world would you start your game like this? Give players some preparation before you throw this nonsense at them. Build up the relationships. Give more context for things. It feels less awkward if we at least have some background and we at least have some understanding of things. I know it's controversial to talk poorly about anything to do with The Witcher, but I stand by this perspective. This scene does not fit, and it is so awkward and not cool in any way. So there you have it, some of the most awkward romance scenes in gaming. Now I can guarantee that there are more than I have on this list. In fact, I know of some, but I could only expose myself to so much really awkward content before I had to take a break. So eventually, if you all want, I can definitely make a sequel to this video. And I would especially like if you can give me some of your most awkward experiences in video games. What romance scenes stand out to you, continue to stand out to you over the years and years that you've played games? Let's talk about it in the comments. If you like more content like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.